It's time for No Pad Sports Talk. Stay tuned as two brothers bring you the latest from your Michigan teams and beyond in hockey, baseball, football, and more. Let's get started. Here are your hosts, JD and Steve.
Welcome to another edition of No Pad Sports Talk. I am one of your hosts, JD.
And I am Steve, and we are here after I know it's been over a week, but
Has it?
I know we didn't. Well, maybe we did one last weekend.
I think we did.
I think we did one last weekend, so it's been a week.
Yeah, it's been a week.
But yeah, we want to come in and talk to you guys about some baseball. We wanted to do some early baseball predictions, and we really wanted to get it in there before the season actually started, before we actually saw anybody playing.
Right.
That did not happen.
Real life happens sometimes.
Real life happens. That's right. Especially when you're not doing this, full time.
Yeah. This is not our job that we do for a living. We actually have other jobs. And, between that and family kind of takes priority.
Yep.
But at any rate, look, it is currently April 6th. And so some games have been played. So we can kind of talk about some predictions. We can talk about our thoughts so far on the young season, and just kind of go from there, right? Just kind of do a little baseball talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, let's just kind of start out with where the Tigers are right now, right? Came out of the box 5-0. They were the last team in the MLB to lose.
That's correct.
So, and while I know my brother has his opinion of the teams that they were beating, I would just like to say, as a fan that looks at the game from a matter of where they finished last year to where they started this year, I was very impressed with the start. They were close games. They had a couple of extra inning games, games where they were either tied or behind late in the game, and then, came alive. So when I look at it from a perspective like that, it was almost like some of the talk we had with the Lions, in that, those were some of the games that the Lions used to lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, as we saw this year, the Lions were winning those closer games, or finding a way to win games when they were close. And I felt like that's what the Tigers were doing. Whether that was just bats coming together or whatever, but
you're not wrong, right? I mean, it's nice. Look, I don't really care who you beat. It is nice to win.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Right. So
right.
I'm not trying to take away from the win itself. The only thing, ultimately that I was trying to say about the wins is, let's just, let's take a step back and just realize who they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the White Sox to start off the season in that what was it, 4 games, 3 games,
something like that. Yep.
And look, I'm happy that they won those games. I'm happy that they, beat a division rival. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. Mets, I think they're better than what the record shows, and I'm really glad they took 2 or 3 from the Mets. That's fantastic. And now they played 2 games against the Athletics, and they're 1-1. The one game was 5-4. And they barely beat them yesterday, and here we are losing 4-0 today.
Yep.
So
to a team like Oakland.
Yeah. Now,
right.
I did mention, I don't know if you remember this or not. I did say that in a game of 7 games, I think Oakland could beat the White Sox. I think the White Sox are that bad. But regardless, right? Like.
Right.
The teams that the Tigers have played have not been very good. The Mets were winless before they beat Detroit on that 3rd game.
Right.
I do think that the doubleheader played a toll on Detroit, and I think that's what we're still kind of seeing. Is some of the exhaustion setting in.
I was gonna say conditioning.
Yeah,
You know,
so I'm not. Look, it's great to win. I just want to, just keep everything in sight, right? Let's not lose focus on who these teams are and that they should win. This is a chance for the Tigers to kind of jump out to an early lead in their division because the teams are playing against.
right?
And they really need to beat the A's tomorrow to make sure they win that series and take 2 of 3, because that's when you're going to start seeing a little bit of a tougher schedule. I mean, you got the Pirates after that. The Pirates are looking really good. I know it's just a 2-game set against them, but then you got 4 games against the Twins. The Twins are, said to basically be the ones that's going to win the Central. So, that's going to be a tough series, 4 games against them. And then you go back and play the Rangers in a 4-game set, who's one of the best teams in the American League, and then the Twins again, before you face off against the Rays and the Royals, who are much improved. The Cardinals have postseason aspirations. The Yankees. Then you got the Guardians. Then the Astros, which is another one of the best teams in the American League. So up until May 12th, right? That's the last game against the Astros is May 12th. Then you start playing, the Marlins. But then, hey, you got the Diamondbacks. But let's stop there at the Astros for a second, right? May 12th is when you kind of get out of that major grind against some really good teams. So that's, to me, those series, Pirates, Twins, Rangers, Twins, and Rays, Royals, Cardinals, and Yankees. So after then the Guardians and the Astros. After the Astros series, that's where I kind of want to reevaluate and see what this team is, because that's going to give us enough time to see exactly what this pitching staff is. It looks good right now, but let's just, let's see where we're at, at the end, because again, look who we're throwing against. I just got to keep it real.
Well, Scooble's looked really good.
Oh yeah, but that's again was kind of expected. You kind of expect him to take the next step towards being like ace status, and he's definitely doing that. So you're right; he's looking really good. But so is Casey Mize. Flaherty looked really good. I think Flaherty is going to be the starter tomorrow, so we get to see if he can continue that streak. Yep. But to me,
I like Matt Manning even came up. They called him up for the doubleheader with having the extra position player, or the extra player that they could bring up because of the doubleheader. Matt Manning threw 5 2 2/3. And he looked good.
Yes, he
didn't give up any hits, no runs. I mean, for a guy that he felt how he felt when he didn't make the opening day roster.
I still think he should have, but that's just me.
You and me both, because I think he played really well. I don't know what they were seeing, but that just could be the pitching staff that the Tigers have, right? Like, it's going to be that tough.
Oh, it's very good. It's very good.
Right.
But right now, like what I was hoping for was Kenta Maeda would be a little bit more of a like, you kind of know what you have in Kenta Maeda, and I was kind of hoping that he would be a very level, right? But he's far from it. He's already given up 3 home runs. The ERA is 16.2. Like at some point, like again, it's early in the season. I'm not saying press the panic button, but at some point, the Tigers have a real chance at winning the Central, and you got to do everything in your power to make the right decisions to win games. And right now, Kenta Maeda is not looking really good as a starter, and that might be a situation where you want to bring up Matt Manning. But again, I know Kenta Maeda you can't send down, and I know he's making probably too much money just to straight up and cut. So I think they signed him for multiple years too. I got to check on his contract. But I'm pretty sure. Let me double check it here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, they signed him to 2 years.
you know, and that's not horrible when you think about where you're at, but you also when you bring a guy in on a multiple year deal, you're hoping for better or better start
Yeah,
anyway, right?
yeah.
So, um, you know, Colt Keith looks like he's been struggling a little bit. He's the rookie, that they signed, they brought up.
The offense
Made
in general has looked really bad.
Yes. So, as a rookie, I know you've talked about that. I think at each new level, there's always going to be uh, a
Learning
lull,
curve.
a learning
Mm-hmm.
curve. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yep.
So that they can, start seeing pitches. The more pitches they start to see from different pitchers, it allows them to, get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
He could be could take him half the season before you actually start seeing some production, like real production from him. But by then he'll have seen a bunch of pitchers, and when you're playing a lot of the same teams over and over again, it does help in that you're getting to see what that looks like at the level. So, again, even with him, I'm not too worried about where he's at. He has, come through. He's had some multiple hit games, or at least one multiple hit game. And, so I think he's hitting the ball. I don't know that he's even it's just not getting out, or he's getting out. He's hitting it to somebody.
I think so far the unluckiest person on the Tigers has been Spencer Torkelson.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all over again. He started off slow last year, but he's actually been hitting the ball pretty hard. So again, I expect very, very shortly. I expect Spencer Torkelson to start getting a little bit lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just kind of a quick update on the Tigers. I know you said you wanted to kind of wait and we can talk Tigers stuff, but you want, instead of trying to evaluate where they are and where you're thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I do want to hear your predictions for the season. Just what you think. What's their win loss? Can they win the division? Do they win a playoff game? Can they make it to the round? Right? I have a number that because we were talking to our cousin Donnie when the season first opened, and we all kind of after the first win, Donnie came out and he was like 162, 162 and no, right?
Right.
So, and we all know that that's obviously not, that's an unrealistic number.
Sure.
but bottom line, we're just like, what's the realistic number? And I, kind of like, where do you think where are you at with win losses?
For wins,
For wins.
86. 86 wins. Yes.
Okay. I think I said 92. Trying to look it up in our chat because we have so many. JD and I have kind of multiple group chats with
Different people.
Like, yeah. I don't know. Trying to keep in touch with the people. Yeah, there it is. This is win 92, and I say they're gonna win the Central. And the wild card round, is that out of 3?
Mm-hmm.
That's out of 3. I think I'm gonna say they lose in 3, so they won't make it through the wild card round. But 92 wins and win in the Central as a building for next year and moving forward.
Okay.
But
So I still say 86 is the number. I think that once you get in, anything can happen. You can look at the Diamondbacks from last year, and that definitely proves it.
Yeah.
And last year, the Diamondbacks relied a lot on their rookies, Corbin Carroll, Gabriel Marino, etc., and young players just in general. And I think that the Tigers could potentially have a better pitching staff than what Arizona did last year when they went into the playoffs. Again, it's early. I'm just looking off of what the potential is. And I do think the potential is there for the Tigers to have a better pitching staff than what the Diamondbacks did. So if they make it in, of course, you go to a different type of rotation. And then you have, and then they can start relying on some of the younger players. Maybe other players come up as well, like Jace Young. Again, we don't know. I know he had his first home run hit in AAA yesterday, I think it was. But at any rate, right? Like you can start depending. If you can start depending on some younger players, just like the Diamondbacks did, you have a better pitching staff potentially than what the Diamondbacks did last year. I don't see that there's any reason why they can't have a Cinderella season. But that's not my prediction.
Okay.
My prediction is bats will go cold in the playoffs because they haven't been there before, and they'll end up losing. And I think they won't even win a game in the playoffs. I think that's what's going to happen.
So they'll get swept in the first round there, the wild card round.
Yeah,
I'm assuming they're going to be playing in the wild card round because of, they're not going to be in the top two teams or top whatever it is.
It'll be low scoring games because I do think that the Tigers pitching will come through for them. But
so they'll keep it close, but they just won't have the bats.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of our quick prediction for the Tigers season. Let's talk about Major League Baseball in general. And I want to get this out here before my brother does, because I'm sure he'll have his own opinion. But I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. And I think they'll win 110 games. That's a lot of games. I know it's a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, and I think they'll win the World Series. I don't know enough about all the pitchers in the league for me to sit there and give you a Cy Young winner. Ohtani's not pitching. If he was pitching, he'd be my guy because, well, I know he's going to be there. If Tariq Skubal keeps pitching the way he's pitching, he's going to be in that conversation, right? So, I think he's got an opportunity. I don't know if they do like a comeback player of the year like the NFL does, but if that's the case, I'm going to get, I would do something like, Casey Mize, right? If he can continue to develop and come back after 2 years of not playing due to injuries, I mean, that's to me is, and I know that's kind of those are homer picks, of course. Well, but I'm known for that.
Yeah, you are.
So I might as well stick with what I do, and that's kind of where I would be because Mize pitched well, right? And so I think if he can continue to do that, he'll develop, he'll get more comfortable. His pitching is going to, it's just good things start to come, as the good things happen, right? So that'll be kind of where I'm going to step back now. I'm going to let my brother take in. I don't even know who, I think from the AL side, if I had to pick, I'm gonna say the Dodgers are gonna play the Yankees.
Okay, makes sense.
And the Dodgers will win in 6.
Okay. I guess my World Series picks first. I would also agree that Dodgers will win. I think it's going to come down to between Texas and the Yankees. You know, the Rangers have gotten better, just in general for some of the younger players coming up, like Wyatt Langford. I think Wyatt Langford has a true, legitimate chance to win Rookie of the Year
Hmm.
in the AL. I think the guy is going to be a beast. Um,
He's already
so
hitting really well so far.
yeah, especially for a rookie, right? Like he's not
Right.
really
Yeah.
missing much at all, you
No.
know. But yeah, Wyatt Langford is looking really good, and but Soto is looking really good in that Yankees lineup, and so I think it might just come down to the pitching. But one thing we got to keep in mind is Texas doesn't have two of their best pitchers in the rotation yet. I mean, you're talking about what Verlander and DeGrom. They
DeGrom.
should come back after the All-Star break. And once they come back and reinforce that rotation, I mean, look, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And I know the Rangers won it last year, and I know how difficult it is for them to repeat. But I do think the Rangers are, when you look at player for player, probably has the best roster in the American League. But Yankees are really good. I don't want to take I'm not trying to say they're bad or anything. They're really good. And a lot of the players on the Yankees already have started to take a few steps forward as well. The man, Anthony Volpe, for some reason his name was flipping. Anthony Volpe is looking really good, and his defense looks like it's gotten better.
Yep.
But so is his hitting. Like I think Volpe got better. Austin Wells, he's a rookie this year behind the plate. I think he's going to look, be pretty good, an upgrade for them over last year. Oswaldo Cabrera has looked better than what he did last year. Gleyber Torres, kind of the same scenario. And again, like I said, Soto fit into that lineup. And then Stanton actually being healthy is looking really good too. So, I mean, like I said, that lineup is really, really good. I think the one thing that might be their downfall is going to be their pitching. I don't think their pitching staff is going to be as good as Texas. But that lineup, though, is certainly really, really good. I spent way too much time talking about the Yankees because I don't like them. But look.
Well, you were talking about Texas and DeGrom. DeGrom's coming back from Tommy John. Is that what it is?
Yes, for the second time, I believe, too.
Okay.
But yeah, but they'll beat the Yankees and the ALCS, and Dodgers will win. Ultimately, Dodgers team is just too good. You look at Yamamoto pitching today. I watched that entire game. Yamamoto in the first two innings got into some serious trouble, but he never really panicked, and he came back and struck out. I think it was 4 hitters with bases loaded, in over the course of the 2 innings, and shut down the other team without them scoring at all. I mean, it was pretty
huge.
Incredible.
That's huge.
And
this is Yamamoto's first year, right, with the Dodgers. He came over from Japan.
Yeah, right? Yeah, first year.
Yep.
And what they were talking about too is, if you didn't watch the game today, they were talking about Yamamoto because the first time he pitched was in Korea and he got shelled. He didn't even make it out of the first inning. That's how bad he got shelled. Or did he make it out of the first? Actually, he did make it out of the first inning. He just didn't come back out for the second. But whatever, it doesn't matter. He got rocked, right? Yeah. So what they're talking about today was they changed the way that he was holding his mitt. So when he came over to America, this guy was a 3-time MVP award, not just their version of Cy Young, their MVP in Japan. This guy, and for a pitcher to win it, right? Look, the guy's been dominant. But he changed the way that he was holding the ball inside his glove and where his ball was positioned when he was going into his windup. And he did that with the purpose of trying to not tip his pitches. He thought he could get hide the ball better if he's holding up higher. But they changed it back to the way that it was, being lower, and we've seen the difference in the next 2 times he's been out. He's been pretty dominant, even though he got in trouble. Like I said, he still didn't give up anything in those times. So, anyway, when you got a pitcher like that says a lot, really.
No, yeah, absolutely, right? So that's huge, too, because you can only imagine, some of your first games here in America, it's a big stage, right? And, you get behind, and to be able to pull yourself out, that's a huge mental game at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he pitched 5 innings today, struck out 8. So again, his stuff was nasty. His four-seam fastball does not really seem to have a lot of swing and miss. But I tell you what, that curveball was absolutely devastating today. If anybody's seen the game, that movement on that curveball was ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's so you've got the Dodgers winning.
Yes.
All right. Who MVP candidates? I know it's early, so we're talking. I mean, it's only week 2 of the season, right? Maybe week 3.
Well, yeah, right. But look, I think it's kind of like not fair right now, to be honest, when you're talking about like see what some of these guys are actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like again, Juan Soto, it's not just his offense; his defense was looking really good too. So in the American League, I'd have to go with someone like either Juan Soto. Man, that's just the only guy that's really coming to my mind right now. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
well,
he's
having a really good start to the year.
He is, right? He is. But like, the guy I'd like to see, and look, I'm not saying he's going to win it, but the guy I want to see win it, just because of the, I think he's the best catcher in baseball is Adley Rutschman. I'd love to see that guy win it.
Who's he play for? Because I know you've talked about him before.
The Orioles.
That's right.
Yeah. But look, I think right now Juan Soto is probably the favorite because even a down year last year was better than a lot of people's best years, and he's still young. He's going to the Yankees. I think he's a better fit for the Yankees. His defense looks to be better this year than what it was when he was playing in San Diego. I think Juan Soto has the best chance of winning it. But I mean, guys like of course, you got to include Aaron Judge just because of his offensive capabilities. But Bobby Witt Jr. If Royals can win, I think Bobby Witt Jr. has a legitimate chance of becoming the MVP. It's just because the team that he plays on, it's not a large market, doesn't get a lot of airtime. It's gonna be hard for him to win it, but I think he has a chance. Mike Trout, just because he's Mike Trout, you always got to kind of include the guy. But no, ultimately, I think Juan Soto is probably the most likely candidate there for American League. Okay. National League, I think Ronald Acuna Jr. has a chance to repeat just because that guy's a beast.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts has gotten off to a really hot start, so I mean, you could look in. He's won it before too.
He's with the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 3 potential people on the Dodgers. Well, likely winners on the Dodgers between Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman. They've all won it before, and they could all win it again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Ohtani stands a chance. I don't think Ohtani is going to have another offensive season like he did last year. I think he's going to regress a little bit in the offensive categories, but Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, they certainly could. Bryce Harper, he stands an outside shot. Fernando Tatis Jr. If you really want like someone that I'd even say Trey Turner has a shot. I mean, why not?
Hmm?
Like, I
Yeah.
love the way Trey Turner plays, but not realistically. I think Ronald
Right.
Acuna Jr. is probably going to win it again.
Okay.
Like when you hit 40 home runs and steal 70 bases, that's tough to overcome as far as someone else winning it.
Yeah. Let's see. Batting.
For Cy Young,
Cy Young.
yeah. Look, I think because we got to see them pitch this or already, like Corbin Burns does have a chance, but I'm actually gonna go with a dark horse here, right? Because I like what I saw so far, and I'm gonna say Tarek Skubal. I'm gonna,
No, okay.
yeah. Look, I know he gave up a couple home runs, and those were the only mistakes he made was a couple home runs, and of course there were major mistakes. But
right.
I think he's going to be really good this year. So,
Okay.
yeah. National League. I would have originally said Spencer Strider. But preseason I would have said Spencer Strider. But I know news have come out that he has a problem with his elbow, and
UCL, right? Beat Tommy John.
He has to get further testing. They haven't really said anything yet, but yes, that's what the thinking is.
Yep.
So because I know that, I'm going to change it, and after today's pitching, and the last two starts that he did after the terrible first start, I'm going to say Yamamoto is going to win the Cy Young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I was looking up my guy from my last year, Ellie Dela Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's exciting to watch, right? But I wouldn't say he's striking out about 50% of the time. I mean, he's still batting .258, right? So he strikes out half the time, and half the time that he doesn't strike out, he's getting on base. So he's got 8 hits out of 31 at bats with 15 strikeouts. And that's, I don't look at the advanced stats like my brother does.
Right.
I'm just looking at some of the basic stuff, but the kid was just exciting to watch last year. Some of the things that he was doing, especially running. I mean, he's got to throw the ball super hard. Like, he's lanky, right? Like this kid is, I don't know. He just, and I keep calling him a kid because that's what he is to me.
Right.
But, he was a 200-pound kid. He's got to be 6-something, right? I forget how tall he was.
6'5".
6'5", playing shortstop.
Yep.
Like, come on now. I don't know that I've ever seen a 6'5" shortstop.
I don't know if I have either.
Most shortstops that I know, they're probably right around the 6 foot mark. They got to have good range. They're usually, those twitchy guys.
Mm-hmm.
That we, the word, that's what we use in football anyway. They got that nice twitch, but that's the kind of thing you're going to need at shortstop. And being 6'5", Jesus, like he could play, shallow, and because of his length, get in front of a ball.
Yeah, so, look, he was
I'm
exciting.
Gonna keep watching him. Yeah,
he was exciting, but he did not have like he kind of tailed off, after his very, very, hot start that he had.
Absolutely, yep.
He played 98 games, had 13 home runs. He ended up only batting .235 with a 300 on base percentage. Last year. Like again, good rookie season. I don't want to take anything away from him. What was great was he also had 15 doubles and 7 triples, which was pretty crazy. In the 98 games that he played, because he runs the base as well. It's just ultimately though, Like he only finished with 89 ops plus.
Well, again, he had 144 strikeouts. Right?
Yeah.
He had 388 at bats in 98 games and had 144 strikeouts.
Only 35 walks.
Yeah, with only 35
He's definitely
walks.
a free swinger. Yeah.
He is definitely, yeah, exactly. Right. So, well, that's him as an athlete playing in baseball is a sign of the things that have changed in baseball.
Yeah.
Where,
right.
Athletes have decided, they either they didn't go play football. They're not playing but they're sticking with baseball. And we talked about that, I know, in several of our shows where you're seeing a different type of athlete come into baseball because they're not playing those other sports, right? They're seeing some longevity in baseball where you might not have that. You're definitely not going to get that in football, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but there, that was just a whole other topic. But I had to take a look at, because all of a sudden there was a name that clicked in my head when we were talking about players, and I just wanted to see and get his name out there a little bit because
I want
I
to show you
was
something
impressed
though.
to see him. Yeah.
Oh, I can't show you.
No, you can't share anything because you.
No.
Yeah.
But look, I'm gonna send it to you anyways.
All right.
I want you to see this. All right.
All right.
So I'm gonna send it to you there in Discord. All right.
Yep.
Sometimes you just get lucky, and this is exactly kind of what happened here. So when De La Cruz was playing against the Mets, just for people that because we can't share, I'd love to be able to show it to you. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but
Yep.
De La Cruz, he, they were Reds were losing 5-4. De La Cruz at the bat, going against Ramirez. Ramirez throws a pitch. De La Cruz wants to swing for it, check swings it, and then the ball bounces off his bat because the infield was in trying to prevent the run from scoring. So it just rolled right past the defense on the outfield. He got on base. So he accidentally tied the game with a check swing. Sometimes you just get lucky,
right? Well, this is the stuff you're talking about, right? Because Torkelson's not. He's hitting the ball hard, but he's just hitting it to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he hit that right dead in the middle. It looked like the shortstop was playing over. So they had a little bit of a shift on. So there was a huge gap between third base and shortstop. And just that check swing, the ball just hit that dead zone. The pitcher couldn't get it. The third baseman couldn't get it. The shortstop was already running to the second base. Yeah. Dad always said, rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, he always did. That's a perfect example as why, right?
That is a perfect example of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was his only base hit that happened today. And I mean, just all right. I mean, what are you going to do?
And the thing is, he stands tall in the box, right? For his swing. So his strike zone is huge.
Yeah.
Right? Vertically, I should say. His strike zone is huge, right? Obviously, the plate is still the strike zone, but vertically, being able to place that ball in a frame that's 6'5", I mean, and that pitch, the pitcher threw him high on that one because that's why he was check swing, because that was up near his shoulders when he hit that ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely funny to watch.
Anyway, but yeah, that's what I think so far.
Okay.
Rookie of the year, I'm going to give it to Wyatt Langford. Again, if Yamamoto wins a Cy Young, like I predicted, there's a good chance he could also win Rookie of the Year in the National League as well.
I was going to ask you that question because I know it's his first year in the MLB, so I assume he's designated as a rookie.
Yeah.
Even though he's got however many years he's played overseas, so. But yeah, you've heard it here. These are the guys. These are the teams. The Dodgers just look super good. And
that roster is insane.
You know, Ohtani finally has some like this is a team, right? Like he doesn't have to be the guy every game, right?
No,
Where
he
where
doesn't.
he did when he was with the Angels. So, like, what a great opportunity for you to come back after you've had your surgery. Even though you're playing, you're DHing, you're out there, you're still producing, but to not have to, have these fantastic games every day because of everybody you're supporting cast. That's got to be a new feeling for him, and I would think a good feeling for him. But yeah, the Dodgers just look really good. So
yes, they do. Yes, they do. Look, but they should. Again, I said this before. It's going back kind of more Tiger talk, and we kind of talked about this before the show today, and we kind of talked in another show a couple weeks ago. I'm really hoping that the Tigers will be able to swing a trade with the Dodgers and get one of their prospect catchers.
Yes.
I'd like to get Diego Cartaya. That'd be the catcher of choice that I would like to get. I think he has the overall higher ceiling. But I just see that as a big hole right now in the Tigers. Like between catcher and shortstop, the two biggest holes right now.
Well, we were talking about that because Carson Kelly's looking at 15 strikeouts for the season already anyway. Or no, was it 15? How many strikeouts did he have?
It wasn't Carson Kelly.
It wasn't Carson Kelly.
No.
Jake Rogers. Sorry, Jake Rogers had the and he's the starting catcher, and we were talking about this before we did the show went live, but because I wanted to know why Carson Kelly wasn't playing more, and as you were reading the more advanced analytics to me, it made sense as to why he is more on the DH side because he's able to produce on offensively, but his defensive, it would be like putting Javi Baez back out behind the plate, or Javi Baez pitching, or not pitching. It's whatever. Javi Baez just sucks.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And right now they got Dylan Dingler, as basically their only other option that's in the system right now. And I kind of expected Dingler to actually make the team this year out of spring training. I didn't think that, but they went a different route. Dingler right now, even in AAA, isn't hitting all that good. He has a .316 on base percentage because of the walks he's taken, but only 133 batting average. But it's only been 5 games. I mean, again, you can't really make much out of that. But
right.
But look, I think Dingler is a good defensive catcher, just like Rogers. But I'd still like to see Dingler in the majors this year. He's 25 years old. He's going to be 26 later this year. I don't know. I just think if it's not time now, when is it going to be time for this guy? I guess that's all I'm saying. Being 26 years old this year, something has to happen.
Well, after that stretch you talked about up through May 12th, when we come back, we actually make some evaluation on the Tigers. I'd like to start talking to you about the draft, which the MLB draft, I should say, because by May 12th, what the draft is going to be, is it June or July? It's like right around mid-season, July. So I know by that point, we're only basically 2 months from the draft, so it would be a great opportunity to try and get an early prospect look at what you think the Tigers are going to do.
I mean, look, I've already been digging into that already, actually. So
I'm sure. How's this? My brother and I, we don't do a we don't have a script, right?
No, we don't.
But we've talked sports so much, like I could say something and I know that he's probably already looked into it. But that's just comes because we're brothers, I think, and
I mean, here's
we're,
my quick thought on the draft, just because we brought it up. All right.
yeah,
Look, I know the in the past the Tigers, wouldn't mind drafting like a young prep player, right out of high school.
yep,
I don't think that's what they're going to do this year. I think this year it's going to be a little bit different because they have a limited window, right? You got Max Clark, who they drafted, of course, last year. They're going to look to try to bring him up as fast as possible when he's ready. But, of course, they want to make it as fast as possible.
right,
And you have a limited window because, again, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, right? Like, I mean, every year these guys get older. Every year they advance to free agency. And at some point, especially they're doing really good, are you going to be able to re-sign them?
right,
So they're going to have to look for I think, a college player that can make a difference in the next 1 or 2 years. And
right.
so plus typically you can get college players cheaper for a signing to sign with you than what you can for a prep player, because prep
Right.
player has options. A college player doesn't really have that many options. That's why you can either get them anyways.
Right. Well, the Tigers are also picking 11th, I think, this year. I think it's what I saw when I was looking it up. And you were talking about prep players. I only saw 2 prep players in the top 20 currently. Now, obviously, the prep baseball season hasn't really kicked off
Right.
yet, and that's just now starting, and I'm sure things will change and that shifts as the season progresses, right, as far as prospects moving up and down that list. But which is why I thought May 12th or in that time frame. It's a really good time because the prep season is going to be ending. Prospects, the college seasons are ending. They're going into those. So it just makes, I think, a really good time to be thinking about that too. But when you're picking 11th, the way you've talked to me about the MLB draft and how much different it is, the further they get down into that order, like the player quality is different, right? Was that something? I think, or at least by round, I know it's different.
Well, it's more about like the percentage of players drafted every single round that make it to the Major League Baseball just drops.
That's
right?
what you're
Like,
talking about.
That's what I was talking about. Yes.
So
that is correct. But
what is kind of further down they are, the less likely they are to make the major league or make the big league roster.
Make it into the big leagues. Yeah.
Yes.
And it can change, obviously, for different reasons. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. But yes. But I do want to say, I'm sure that this guy listens to us. I'm positive, because why wouldn't he?
Right.
But there's a guy entering the draft this year, Caleb Bonnemer. He's out of Okemos, Michigan. And right now he's got a commitment to Virginia. But it's very possible that he will, depending on, because they always make a commitment, right, to a school, and then if they get drafted, they can choose whether or not to go to the team or go to the school, which is why I'm saying
correct.
Prep prospects always have an option. So they usually require a little bit more money to sign. But this guy is already has multiple exit velocities over 105 mile an hour. So like he's looking to be like a big hard hitter at third base. So he's when draft comes along in July, he'll be still 18 years old. So since he's in Michigan, I just want to call him out. He's probably going to be the probably the only prep player drafted out of Michigan. If yeah. So just a little call out.
Yeah. Well, it said he was the Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year last year as a junior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe the overseas. And it says, well, what I'm looking at here from their prospect, it says he may be the Wolverine State's best position prospect since Derek Jeter went 6th overall in 1992. That's
saying a lot, right?
that's those are pretty big shoes. But yeah, that's big. So something to think about, because like I said, I only went down through the top 20 and I was just looking at like the number of prep players that I was seeing, and I guess I got that wrong. There's like 4 in the top 20. But and I get it that season, they're ranked based off kind of what was coming off maybe summer ball, whatever they've done through the winter. But yeah, it'll be a great time to talk about that as we move into the, we start transitioning from, early baseball play into the heat of the summer play, because I think that's where championships are won and lost, is through the summer, right? Like there's that time just before the All-Star break to just after the All-Star break where, it can make or break your season.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really argue with that. Yeah. But anyway, look, I know it was kind of a weird show today. We just wanted to really just, like, we didn't have anything specific we really wanted to like focus in on. It was more just a general talk about baseball. You know, like there's a lot of stuff that we've been wanting to do. We haven't had a chance to do it because, again, real life. But so we just kind of all threw it together today.
Yeah, well, I like just having our conversations where it's not on one thing.
Like more natural, right?
Yeah, it's just you and me having a conversation talking about baseball, right? And it's mostly me giving you questions, leading you into something. But I feel like I do a pretty good job at that. I know enough about sports or a different sport to say, like, I can give you an intelligent question that will lead into a conversation that we can both have.
Right. Yeah. So, but anyways, look, if you stuck around, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
We definitely want to have some more baseball talk. We got lots of stuff that we really want to talk about. Yeah. We're trying to do more shows. We really are trying to do, because we're right now we always kind of do one per week. That's kind of been like standard, and anything more we do than just that one per week has kind of been a bonus. But we really wanted to start putting out more content.
Yes,
it's just been, like I said, a little difficult since we don't do this full time. So
yeah. And it would be nice to get some other people on here too to talk. So I am going to reach out to my Yankees, my Navy, and a former Navy person. See if she wants to get on. She did show interest last time I talked to her about it, and she is a Yankee fan. So I'm sure she'll have her own opinion about where the Yankees are going to be at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We need to get Donnie, or get our cousin on here. I think he's a baseball guy too. Yep. You and him played a lot of baseball together growing up. Indeed. So, and so I'd like to get him on, but we just need to get some people that we know just to get them on here. They don't got to be anybody, right? Yeah. Just to have a different voice, a different opinion, and as college football starts, obviously I know Scott will get out here. The Michigan spring game, I think it's either this weekend or next weekend. So
wow.
I think after that, I probably should get a hold of Scott and see if we can do a post Michigan spring game and see who we think is going to be the quarterback. Because to me, that's probably the biggest position that needs to be filled.
You're absolutely right, 100%.
So
yeah.
And if anybody out there, you guys think you want to go on there, maybe we'll do a live show and we'll have a call in. You guys can call in and we'll do it that way.
I'd love that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Right? I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. Just kind of take phone calls and take questions.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know if you're interested. Love to have you on here. It doesn't matter who your favorite team is. Let's talk. And it doesn't matter what sport. Let's talk. And anyway, appreciate you listening. Subscribe for catch our content, and we'll just talk to you next time.
Yeah, take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to No Pads Sports Talk. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media at No Pads Sports Talk.